Have you ever wondered what really happened on that night when Jacob wrestled with an angel? What can this event teach us about our own lives? In today's video, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating moments in the Bible, Jacob's wrestling with the angel. This event is not just a story about a man wrestling with a celestial being, but rather a profound metaphor for the internal battles we all face. Get ready for a detailed analysis of this story, which reveals much more than we can imagine. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. It helps me continue bringing content like this to you. And of course, leave a like if you like the idea of this video. Let's get started. To understand what really happened that night, we need to take a step back and get to know better who Jacob was and what led him to the Jabbok River. Jacob was not only the younger brother of Esau, he was someone whose choices and actions made him a man marked by deception, manipulation, and a life full of struggles. From the moment he was born, Jacob's story was filled with conflict and rivalry. From a very young age, Jacob showed determination to achieve what he wanted, often at the expense of others. He deceived his father, Isaac, to receive the blessing that was originally meant for Esau, his older brother. This act of fraud created a great rift between the two brothers, generating a rivalry that would last for years. The weight of this betrayal and Jacob's subsequent flight shaped his life in a profound way, and it's essential to understand that the choices we make, especially the difficult or wrong ones, often put us on paths of uncertainty and insecurity. Now, in Genesis 32, Jacob was returning to his home after years of separation and deep fears about what he would face upon meeting his brother again. He didn't know what he would encounter in Esau, whether his brother would forgive him or if he was preparing for revenge. At this moment, Jacob finds himself alone, vulnerable, and unsure of what to do. And it's in this state of despair and uncertainty that he encounters something extraordinary, an angel. The lesson we can extract from this part of the story is that often life puts us in vulnerable situations where the future seems uncertain, and we find ourselves facing the unknown, unsure which path to take. At that moment, Jacob was immersed in great emotional vulnerability. He was on the verge of a crucial meeting with his brother Esau, reunion filled with uncertainties and fears. After years of separation, Jacob found himself at the Jabbok River, alone in the dark of night, with his mind full of conflicting thoughts and feelings. It was a perfect moment to reflect on everything that had happened up to that point, about his choices, mistakes, and the consequences of his journey. But in the midst of this deep reflection, Jacob was surprised by a mysterious man who suddenly began to wrestle with him. This fight lasted throughout the night, and the question that arises is, why didn't Jacob just give up? The biblical text, in turn, doesn't immediately reveal who this man is. His identity is gradually unveiled, but there are some important clues that help us understand that more than just a common physical adversary, this man represents something much deeper, a divine manifestation. This man can be interpreted as a direct representation of God or an angel sent to challenge Jacob in a much broader way, not just physically, but spiritually as well. The question that arises is, why did this struggle last so long? The answer may lie in the profound symbolism of the night in the Bible, which is often associated with a period of trial, testing, confusion, and even despair. But Jacob's struggle wasn't just with a celestial being. In fact, Jacob was wrestling with something much greater. He was confronting his own insecurities, fears, flaws, and traumas. This battle wasn't just a physical challenge. It reflected the internal struggles we all face at critical moments in life. How many times do we find ourselves in seemingly hopeless situations, unsure of the outcome of the battle? How many times in the darkness of our own nights do we feel like Jacob, wrestling, not knowing what's coming, but being challenged to continue? And this is the great message behind this struggle. It symbolizes the need to persevere, to keep going even in the face of most intense difficulties when everything seems lost. True strength doesn't come from the absence of adversity, but from the ability to persist in the face of it. The symbol of this eternal struggle between Jacob and the man is, in fact, a reflection of all the battles we fight within ourselves. Moments when, like Jacob, we find ourselves exhausted, uncertain, but with inner strength that drives us to keep going. Jacob's struggle teaches us that even when it seems like everything is against us, perseverance and faith can lead us to a transformative destination that goes far beyond what we imagined. Jacob was in a battle against someone much stronger than he. What can we learn from this unequal struggle? First, Jacob didn't give up, and this teaches us an important lesson about perseverance. The struggle wasn't about winning or losing physically, but about Jacob's inner strength. Many times, the greatest battles aren't external, but internal, and it's these battles that shape us, strengthen us, and transform us. Additionally, this struggle also shows us the process of personal transformation. Before becoming Israel, Jacob was a man full of deceit and weaknesses. He needed to confront his own flaws, his own humanity. Therefore, the struggle of the angel is also a metaphor for the internal battles we all face. They're the battles against fear, doubt, guilt, and lack of faith. And often, these struggles make us grow and bring us closer to something greater than ourselves. After a long struggle, the angel touched Jacob's hip, and he became lame. This moment is crucial for understanding what happens to Jacob, because it marks a turning point in his journey. This touch is a defeat, but a moment of revelation and transformation. The angel could have easily defeated Jacob, but he chose to touch him and leave him with injury. What does this mean? First, we can understand that Jacob's transformation would be painful. The change he needed to go through wouldn't be easy. Often in our lives, the changes that mark us and make us stronger come with pain. But this pain, this injury, is also symbolic. It shows that true transformation only happens when we're willing to face our fears and flaws honestly and deeply. The big turning point in the story happens when the angel changes Jacob's name to Israel. This isn't just a name change. It's a change of identity. Jacob, the deceiver, becomes Israel, the one who struggles with God. This change is a milestone in Jacob's story, and it's important to reflect on the symbolism behind it. A name in biblical culture has a deep meaning. It doesn't just represent a person's identity, but also their destiny. The name change is also a symbol of our own journey of transformation. When we face our internal battles and manage to overcome our flaws and fears, we too can experience a new identity. Jacob, now Israel, left behind a man who ran away and deceived, and became someone who wrestles with God and prevails. The name Israel is a foundation to the people of Israel, and this leads us to understand that this personal transformation is also a collective movement, a process of renewal that affects not only the individual but also future generations. Now, let's think about how this story can apply to our lives. All of us, at some point, face internal struggles. These battles are not against people or external circumstances, but against our own fears, doubts, and limitations. The story of Jacob teaches us that even when we feel weak, when circumstances seem bigger than us, we can find inner strength to persevere and grow. What can we learn from Jacob's struggle? That true transformation often comes after pain. That facing our flaws and limitations can lead us to a new beginning. That the name we carry, our identity, can be renewed when we're willing to fight, not give up, and trust that even in the hardest battles, God is with us. Jacob's struggle with the angel is undoubtedly one of the most impactful stories in the Bible. It teaches us about faith, perseverance, and the need to face our own internal challenges. Jacob, by wrestling with the angel, didn't just overcome a physical battle, but also reinvented himself spiritually. He became Israel, the man who struggles with God. And you? Are you willing to fight for the changes you need to make in your life? Are you ready to transform your internal battles into spiritual victories? If this message touched you, subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who needs this reflection. Remember, the greatest transformations come from within. See you in the next video.